Hello to YouTube. This is my response to Rational Roundtable's Many Faces of God. He posted this as a video response. I don't think it was originally intended for me, but as a video response to moral argument I was having, atheism versus theism, and I didn't think it was anything that special, but I think the part that he really objected to, or what he needed to clarify, was at the end I started evolved into this anti-theistic ideology rant. It's sort of unplanned. Who knows where these videos are going to take you? But I kind of object to his video vehemently. Anyways, let's get to what he has to say.
In this video, I'm going to attempt to answer a very common argument against theism, and in fact commonly used as an answer to the infamous Pascal's wager, which I think Hold On to Your Wig put well in one of the comments he left for my Q&A videos when we were talking about the Kalam cosmological argument. He said, I understand that you believe in the cosmological argument for its existence of God. Having said that, how can you then take the gigantic leap of giving that God an identity? To say that your idea of God is true and all the other gods which have and are worshipped are false is completely illogical. Well, hold on to your wig. I think that that is a very, very sound argument. If I were making such a claim, and you see, I do claim that my belief in God is true. However, I make no claims as to the validity of other people's belief in God.
Okay, did anyone have to listen to that twice just to make sure he said what he said? There are two ways that you could describe how your positive belief in a God is true, and that is not refuting other claims. You could claim ignorance. You could say you have never heard or assessed any other religious claims, to which I reply, that is a very nice rock you live under. You could plead that you don't know the mechanism by which your truth statement makes things untrue, makes other possibilities untrue, which is sort of akin to at your murder trial saying to the judge, well, yeah, I stabbed him, but I didn't understand that that would have an adverse effect on that man. You could claim non-contradiction, which opens up the possibilities of somewhere right now baby Jesus is trying to save somebody from Zeus's lightning bolts. Wouldn't that be interesting? Something I'm dubbing the can't we all just get along theism policy, which makes you the Rodney King of theism. Fight the power, brother. So let's examine your mechanism, your example, pardon me, and see if it has any merit.
Both of my clones cannot be right. The light cannot be both red and green at the same time in the same respect, as the law of non-contradiction clearly dictates. However, both clones seem very convinced that they are speaking the truth, and further, as an objective observer, you would probably have noticed that, at least as far as you are concerned, there was no light, which means that both of them were incorrect. So where does the truth lie in all of this? Okay, so based on the law of non-contradiction, we know that the light cannot be both green and red in the same respect at the same time. But was that the case? In this, I neglected to tell you one piece of information at the outset, which is that the light is actually behind a prism.
Okay, let's look at your experiment. I do understand that the light is supposed to represent God, and the clones are supposed to represent us. I do find it somewhat amusing that you would use the term clones to describe the people looking for the light of God. That's neither here nor there. So if God is the light and we are the clones, what does the prism represent? I mean, is it part of God's nature? Is it our minds trying to wrap itself around God? I don't, in your worldview, I just would love to know what the prism represents. But okay, for the sake of argument, I will let's assume that there is a God. And let's also assume that your experiment is an accurate representation of the mechanism by way we perceive him. I will also assert the theory that the prism is our own mind. And the reason that two people, that Muslim A, Muslim green, let's call him, and Jew red, can see vastly different messages, allowing them to kill each other with full knowledge that God is behind them, is accurate. So then the question would be, well, how do we know which message of God is true? And the answer is we cannot, because any such message that we derive would be filtered through our own brain. So the only logical conclusion that you could come to would be you can make no positive inferences about God, which is what I said at the end of my video that you posted the response to. And you also lose Pascal's wager, because no longer can you threaten me with the most evil thing I've ever heard, which is infinitely terrible punishment for an infinite amount of time. I mean, seriously, can you come up with something worse than that? You can't threaten me with that anymore, because that's a positive inference about the nature of God. You say you know he will do that. So bye-bye Pascal's wager. So, in conclusion, if we all can't make positive inferences about God, then we lose all the killing, bigotry, xenophobia that we see in the world today just because you happen to be born in Pakistan and they hammered in your head, you're Islamic. Oh, okay, well, it's fine. Totally. Or you were born here and now you're a Christian. There you go. Wouldn't that be nice?